No, that's the thing. I had a couple people reach out to me and just be like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on with this?" So I figured
It's
might have to
crazy.
might have to fire up a podcast real quick. And so,
Fired up.
how you been though? It's been a minute since the last one here, Champions League quarters, right?
Yeah, a lot has gone down, Oliver, in the footy world since the last one, and stress levels are high for a lot of fans, for sure.
So high, dude. Fucking sky
For
high. And this is being filmed on 420. So I
That's right.
mean, no coincidence there. I guess,
I
but
love this game. Happy
yeah,
420 to
yeah,
the amigos
yep.
that are joining us today. Hopefully, you guys remember this podcast by the end of the night after you listen to it. Not saying that you guys partake, but there's going to be a lot of information thrown at you.
That's right. That's right.
You know,
So let's just, I mean, we're going to start basically with a recap on what went down the past like 48 hours or so. And then we'll just talk about, our thoughts and feelings. Maybe we'll get a little emotional about it and kind of talk about what we been through over the past couple days here and just take it from there. Does that sound good to you, man?
let's do it, McNutt. Yeah, let's give the listeners a rundown of what has happened since
Yeah.
we got the go ahead at midnight at strike at midnight of the Super League on Sunday,
Yeah.
4/18.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we're just going to run through this real quick. So basically, Sunday, rumors start swirling around that 12 groups, 12 clubs were planning on releasing a statement on a new proposed Super League to be formed in Europe. Then that same day, Gary Neville hears the news mid Man U Burnley match, shits all over it, talks about how these teams need to be removed from the leagues, deducted points, etc. Later that night, so still Sunday, the Super League comes out with their official announcement with their website that looks like a 14-year-old made it for their science or computer science class, and then the 12 teams involved and their big plans for the league. Clubs announced the founders with an additional three to join, five places to be played for. Basically, we find out too that £3 billion would then be split amongst the different teams, so big money there. UEFA president, same day, Alexander Seferin releases a scathing attack on the Super League, threatens basically that players and clubs won't be able to play in their domestic leagues, players won't be able to play in the Euros, etc. That's when it really hit me personally.
Right.
Then UK government comes out, big Boris Johnson over there condemning the league, and as well as the Prince William and whatever the hell his title is, like Duke of Cambridge or some shit. Fast forward to Monday, UEFA releases their proposed changes to the Champions League format to be started in 2024. With some like 36 teams, group stages replaced by like a single league phase, which I think is cool. That's basically what I think we want to happen eventually anyway. But then anyway, Juventus and Manchester United, their share prices jump in the stock market. So we're already seeing effects in the world of money there. More
Right.
calls against the Super League from prominent names, notably Alan Shearer, Carragher, and Gary Neville, of course, are just fucking sounding off on Sunday Night Football and all that.
Going off.
Yeah, fucking insane. PSG and Bayern both announced that they're not going to be joining. Same goes for Dortmund. UEFA delegate comes out and says that potentially City, Chelsea, and Madrid are going to be kicked out of the Champions League semis, which would basically hand PSG the title. Leeds where oh yeah, so Sunday or I'm sorry, Monday afternoon, Leeds is wearing special T-shirts like earn the Champions League or soccer's for the fans or whatever. Klopp has a pre-match press conference as well, voicing his concerns and reiterating his disdain for Lee from back in 2019. Milner
Mess.
comes out post-match, says like just straight to the point to the camera, "I don't like it. We don't like it. We hope it doesn't happen." Then that night, Florentino Perez, president of Real Madrid, he kind of comes out as the leader of this whole movement, has this press conference saying what needs to be done to save the game, and that like youth people aren't like watching the games as much anymore, and he says some crazy shit like we need to lower the amount of minutes in the game and all that. So crazy shit from him. Yeah, yeah. UK government steps up pressure. There's a meeting called by old Jordy Henderson there at Liverpool for all the Prem captains to kind of get together and talk about it. Pep has a conference where he says that it wouldn't be sport because it removes the competition aspect of it. Then today, Chelsea fans pre-match take to the streets, prevent the team boss from getting to the stadium. You got Petr Cech out there with his fucking helmet on, just trying to like protect the gates and shit. Then like within minutes, Chelsea's plan to leave is rumored, confirmed, and then announced. Soon followed Man City, Manchester United. This was probably for Man U fans the one bit of maybe saving grace out there for this whole shit show was Ed Woodward announcing his resignation at the end of the season. Very unpopular guy. Liverpool players all posting a unified message on social media. Then at around 6 p.m. this evening, Eastern Standard Time, all 6 Premier League clubs at this point announced that they're going to dip out of that shit. Only one, which we'll talk about in a bit, only one apologizes to the fans. And then finally, this is the most recent update I got. So, of course, this is an ongoing situation. But the ESL, European Super League, puts out a statement saying they're going to basically reshape their plans and put it on hold for now. So, crazy shit, dude. Crazy.
Crazy past few days for sure, and props to the Prem captains for stepping up and being leaders, getting together and voicing it. Yeah, a lot of pundits coming out against it. Even Rio Ferdinand had some strong words about it. A lot of backlash just in the PR sense. What a mess from everyone involved. What are you doing? Did you there was no sense of preparing for the backlash of the league, what could happen if people oppose it. And that's exactly what happened. And here we are. The team's going back. We got Florentino getting caught on his own lies. FIFA, UEFA, they're not the cleanest people. No, it is a cartel over there. You have to remember that.
It's true.
Okay.
That's a good point. Yeah. It's, how did, when you first kind of heard about it, whereabouts were you? Like when you saw the first news drop?
It was shocking at first. I thought, what is this? Am I living in an alternate universe where somebody created a tournament in FIFA? In FIFA, 2016, where you create a fake tournament between your friends, sort of like the Windspear Classic. I thought there's a real life Windspear Classic happening right now. All these big clubs are getting together, and at first, by just surface level, I said, "That's awesome! What a great way!" And then I started reading about the details, how it's a closed league, teams are guaranteed like stupid amount of money, and then to see FIFA and UEFA strike the hammer down so quick and at such a level, like you can't play UEFA, you can't play World Cup, we're going to relegate you 5 divisions, fine you. It was insane, and nothing I've ever seen before, and I'm surprised that Florentino Perez even said all those things like, yeah, it's going to go through. Don't worry about it. They signed a 20-plus contract into it. The clubs can't withdraw. So I'm sure we're going to hear a lot of legal stuff come out now. And
for sure, man.
By them putting a hold on it now, you got to be worried that they might come back with a vengeance, Florentino and all those guys.
Yeah, it definitely. Good to see. Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. And to that point too, their statement, it definitely seems as though they don't plan on like scrapping it all together. It seems like they plan on going back to the drawing board and figuring out another way to kind of force something like this through. We'll see what kind of power UEFA has as far as preventing any kind of shit like that. I think Florentino Perez, like his press conference he had was honestly fucking pathetic. Like coming out and saying, basically, this has to happen or football is going to die. This is the only way to save football. This kind of crazy, extreme language, basically to like scare tactics almost. Where
literally,
it's like, dude, no, maybe you guys are fucked because you're dropping $100 million on transfers all the time and doing all these crazy deals. For example, buying a player like Eden Hazard at age 29 for $80+ million. He's played 10 games for Madrid. It's like that's a shitty decision, and that's on you. Fans should have to suffer for that. And I mean, it seems that their justification, they're trying to pickpocket these things COVID, financial problems,
Exactly.
etc.,
Right.
and trying to justify this with sketchy ass bullshit like that. It's really
It's
disgraceful, dude.
it's very sad that they thought these guys thought that they could, because of all the years of poor financial decisions, they could just think, oh, these clubs have this really great legacy history that we really didn't do anything to build, but let's just let's exploit it. Let's create the Super League, get our money up, get out of debt that we got ourselves into. When you have these other clubs who are properly managing their clubs, selling players, buying players. And yeah, I agree with you, Albert. It's like, why should the fans have to pay for these owners that don't know how to manage their teams, and now they're trying to kind of franchise their teams.
Mm-hmm.
Even the American owners, they get a lot of hate for not loving the game. It's all a business, and they're not helping themselves now by trying to turn creating the Super League sort of like a closed franchise league, no relegations. Here's our brand. Our brand is just going to make you watch us regardless of what we put on the pitch, which is just a disgrace. It's a shame, and I'm more of them should resign. I'm calling for all their resignations.
I love it, dude. It's like we need like some sort of soccer like guillotine and ship it over there, and maybe just line up all the owners like in front of a net and have them, like when you get the guys on the goal line, they face the other way and like bend over, and
Yes,
the fans get to like kick balls and hit them in the ass or something. That would be
we gotta do
hilarious,
that.
dude. So, but yeah, I mean, to that American point too. I mean, that's something that I'm seeing all over Twitter, and those guys from like Back Again, for example, that are over at Barstool, the former Arsenal Fan TV guy, coming out putting a lot of the blame on some of the American owners for being so out of touch with the traditions of soccer and in Europe, and not fully understanding how much it means to the fans and stuff. And there's definitely some truth to those points, but I would say that's also almost kind of like a cop out too, because there's so many other underlying issues that have been going on for 10, 15 years now in the world of soccer that are totally separate from the problem of the American owners. So I'd be cautious to put all the blame on them. There's definitely way more underlying issues that we should focus probably a little bit more so on than just scapegoating the American owners there. But
Yeah.
and trust me, I'd be the first one to throw them under the bus, to be honest. So I mean, it's like you just got to be
Yeah, well,
realistic with it,
what did you think when you saw the news, Oliver?
dude. I mean, I was shocked. I was shocked because it was like, wait a minute, like what the fuck? And I guess when I first saw it, it was more so like, okay, like kind of curious. But then the reaction from UEFA about banning them from domestic leagues, and that's when it really hit me. And then, like,
Right.
honestly, all day on Sunday, then, after I saw that, I pretty much had that. And this is going to sound super fucking dramatic, but I had, like, this, like, fucking just this feeling in my gut that just sucked. Like, a really weird, like you got in some trouble with like your girlfriend or some shit, or you got in I think I tweeted something too, like that the morning after, like you get in a big fight with like a really good friend of yours or something.
Yeah.
And you wake up and it's like, oh fuck, and it's just kind of sitting there in you, and that's that was my initial reaction.
Yeah, it was shocking just to see the audacity and just the disconnect from the football world, where these guys are like, yeah, it's Super League, we're doing it. We got these top clubs in there. 3 clubs can join, right? A total of 20 clubs in every year, depending on how you're doing the league. You can get an invite potentially.
Yeah.
And if you go, whoa, no, you're not doing all that. We're cutting it off. And I agree. That was like when I thought, like, oh shit, this is kind of serious. Like, you're not going to be able to play a World Cup. You're not going to be able to play the Euros. And I wonder if after the Euros are done and the World Cup comes and goes, is that when they'll try again, where we're kind of a little bit further out of the Super League, where legendary coach Arsene Wenger even predicted the Super League, right? Let's talk about some of these managers, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Who
for
are
sure.
talking, who are against it. I mean, currently, Mourinho, first one to be said, obviously probably related to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Super League, right? I wish I was a fly on the wall for that
Yeah,
meeting.
oh my god, dude. We definitely, yeah. We got to definitely let's hone in on Mourinho here because he was sacked before the end of the season. Tottenham has to pay him something like $30 million to
Oh
pay out the
wow,
rest of his contract. So it's and now that Tottenham and that somebody I saw this on Twitter. Someone saying like, they were maybe thinking that with the Super League they would have all this revenue and it wouldn't really matter. But now if
right?
which they've already pulled out of it, so it's like you sack Mourinho, you got to pay him 30 mil now, and you're not getting that guaranteed money, and there's a good chance that they're not going to be in the Champions League either. So it's like they got doubly fucked, Tottenham. But I mean, isn't that classic Spursy shit right there?
I mean, they, yeah, it's a mess. I wonder what the backlash will be if there is going to be any legal actions. I mean, I was reading about the news, and one of the sports lawyers, I think it was Sky Sports, forget his name, but he said it would be easier to defend the Super League than the UEFA Super
Mm-hmm.
League, just because it's creating competition. It's at the same time creating a almost like a monopoly with the big clubs who are joining. But
Yeah.
it's a new league. They would have. He was saying they would have flexibility as a new product, sort of say,
Right.
into the
Right.
market. Where currently right now UEFA and FIFA own most of the majority. So
That's a good
I
point.
think they put this down now. They're gonna wait for the dust to settle, play the international stuff, and pick it back up again, which I hate, which is why we players and football fans, we have to keep the pressure and make sure that they protect a footballing pyramid, right, as they
Yeah.
call it over there.
Yeah, and I would say as well that you know, aside from that initial shocking emotion, I got to say, like on Monday and Tuesday as well, today especially, seeing sort of like the galvanizing of the fans and all the supporters, whether you're this team's fan, whether you're United or City, whether you're Liverpool
Hmm.
or United, fans from across the board all kind of coming together, and it felt pretty kind of awesome. Like it
Right.
just kind of felt like more and more momentum's building. It's like we're not letting this happen. Like there's no way. Like what the fuck are they gonna do when fans are just like, you know what, fuck it, we're not going to these games. Like obviously right
Hmm.
now, and that's the thing too that's so sneaky about it is this is they try to slip this one in among like amidst a pandemic here where fans haven't even been able
Right.
to go to a game in so long. And honestly, they probably thought that was like smart and sneaky, but really
Hmm.
right now people are just home chilling. They got nothing better to do than just get on Twitter and light
Yeah.
people up and get on all the
Right.
social media. So yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's just fucking crazy, dude.
It was, I believe it was Eric Cantona who also spoke up about it, and he put it so well. He put it so great. He said, we've been playing without fans for about a year now, and it's boring. It's been boring. He said, I've watched the stars, I've watched the players, and it's boring because there's no fans. And now they're trying to use that as that, like you said, the excuse, pandemic. And we could go for hours on the subject how like lower teams have gone bankrupt. They've had to let go of players because they can't afford bills. So they're really struggling. And here these guys say, well, we fucked up our transfers for a couple years now. Messi has a dumb contract that's going to bankrupt us in a couple years. So let's start a super league to kind of save our asses. No, that's not how it goes. And I think the football world and the fans, they saw the power that they have when they unite. And
Mm-hmm.
I hope that this is the start of them understanding that this is our game. And if we don't protect it, these rich owners and these investors are going to take over and they're going to turn it into a business. And who knows, soon you're going to see the franchise and the no relegation shit, which is is what we're trying to get away from here in the
Right.
MLS in America for a while, and we can't do it because MLS is such an investment, and money will always talk, but it's good to see that the people saw we have some power here to do something.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And I think for me, one of the more powerful moments out of the whole couple days here, there's been so many, but one that really stood out was Patrick Bamford, lead striker.
Yes.
Yeah, he came out after his match there against Liverpool, was it? Yeah, and so first of all they tied 1-1. Leeds is in what, 10th place, and they tied one of these super teams, and then
Right.
Chelsea tied
Super.
0-0 today against Brighton. So it just goes to show these. I mean, that's besides the point. That's a whole nother point. But Bamford
Yeah.
came out and basically was like, he was totally out of breath. You can tell he was being very careful with how he was saying it. I would definitely recommend you guys check it out, look it up. But he's basically saying it's crazy how as soon as these big owners and corporations start having effects on their wallets, all of a sudden it becomes way easier for action to happen and mobilize and make these crazy changes and all that. But with something like racism, nothing happens at all. Like no changes are made. Yeah, you get a little patch on your jersey in some
Right.
leagues. You get some banners and that, but really other than that, that's like it. So I thought that was really powerful and just a really good point by him, and a
Yeah.
good a
Props to the
good
lad.
yeah, for sure, and just a good moment for people to see that you do have a voice in the game, and we've seen it. There has never been a better example than over the past couple of days here. So that was huge.
Yeah, I think what these fans and players have to understand that some of these owners they just look at it as a business and an investment, and they're looking out for their wallet and not the beautiful game. We can't let them taint the beautiful game.
No.
I mean, speaking of players coming out and talking about, I mean, Patrick Bamford is on the team that's not in that super league, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we had Gerard Piqué kind of speak up from one of the teams that you could argue potentially would benefit the most
Yeah.
from the Super League money, where I think Barcelona's in like billions now of that, or is it still millions?
I don't know, man. We got to get the AmiGolazo accountant on that one.
Let's get them
I
on that.
get him. Yeah, we'll get him on there. But it's a lot. It's a shit ton. So that's
Right.
all I know. It's a fucking shit ton of money. They're fucked because they made a lot of horrible decisions. That's what
So
happens.
they come out, the president says we'll leave it to the fans to vote because it is the Catalunya team, the Catalan. They rely a lot on their fans. They voted no. A lot of people, Atletico voted no as well. But it's yeah, it was really shocking to see so much happen in such a short amount of time with all these players speaking up, totally against it. You would get every now and then a couple like Twitter comments that they were for it, but mostly all against it.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll go down. I mean, it's definitely going to go down as a historic moment. The Super League scandal, infiltration of the Super League, but I don't think we've seen the last of the evil villain Florentino Perez.
No. And I have seen, and this is some recent shit on Twitter, right before we started filming, but one or two, not prominent, but like larger figures in soccer media saying that, there's calls for him to resign. But he just won his sixth straight election. Like, he's
No
not
way.
going anywhere. He's not going anywhere, dude. But yeah, I mean, it was great to see, guys like Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher that, I love their pre-match and post-match analysis and just banter they have with each other. Obviously, two rival players in the
That's
league, but
fair.
both English guys, and you could see how passionate they were about it and how much it really meant for them. And like Gary specifically, really, you can just see it in his eyes and the way he was expressing himself, calling for fans to like march on the stadium and shit and do all this
Yes.
crazy stuff with which legit like that ended up happening with Chelsea today. So it was really cool, man. It just showed like the power that the fans and voices can have when you don't fuck with the beautiful game. It's not about money.
Looking at who they invited for the Super League,
Yes,
and who they decided not to invite, right? Or they say, quote, decided not to invite.
Right.
Who knows what they did and who said no, right? Yeah. But obviously PSG, Bayern, they didn't get the call to the Super League. Who knows? Maybe they would have been those 3 teams that get qualified and whatever. Mm-hmm. But were there some teams, Oliver, that you thought, what the fuck? Why are they in the Super League? And are there any other teams you thought, like, oh, why didn't this team get the invite? I have a feeling you might have a couple.
Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, my God. That was one of the funniest bits about this whole... I mean, seeing Tottenham in there was hilarious, for one. And then seeing Arsenal in there, it was just like, these two... They're like your two... I'm trying to think of like a way to compare them. Imagine, you're at this family party and it's like all these like elite family members. They're all doing really well and just balling out and shit. And then you got these two fucking distant cousins that show up to the party and they're just like coming in with a fucking, 30 rack of Molsons, ripping cigarettes, walking into this nice party. And they're like, what's up, guy? And they're like... Everyone thinks that they're like the same and shit. It's like, dude, Arsenal has been a fucking roller coaster this whole season. Like, sometimes they're really good, and then other times they just drew Fulham 1-1, and they scored in the 96th minute. Otherwise, it would have been an L against the Super League team. And then fucking Tottenham. I mean, obviously, just giving Jose the sack, and they've been shit for the last couple months as well. I mean, that was fucking, just hilarious. And real quick, too, and then we'll get back to those teams there, because we touched on Jose earlier, but it was really funny. There was they kind of caught him going to his car after he was getting fired. And I know you saw the video where he, like, it's from his point of view. He's like, see, I can't do his accent. I always, like, revert to doing my dad's. But basically, he's like, look at them. They're, like, following me even when I'm fired. And he just kind of like spins around with his phone and films them and shit. But the best part is that he was like, the shit that he was putting in the trunk of his car were these big pictures of him holding trophies from like 10 years ago. And it's like, dude, yeah, like he's got his trunk open. Like he's got like 4 or 5 giant portraits of like, 2010 Champions League, some La Liga trophies. And it's like, Jose, awesome. Man. You got to move on from these things. It was kind of sad, but it was also really funny. But
3 times.
I mean, I think
he's
just
not
last
go
bit
out.
Here on those teams, I think that like the one team that's going to come out of this that probably beforehand is one of everyone's least favorite teams, right? PSG. Whereas now, I think President Al, whatever the hell his name is, he comes out kind of looking like a G because he had a nice statement.
I would agree.
Football's for the fans and all that jazz, and PSG obviously declined or whatever. We don't know the full story. We probably never will. But now to the neutral fan, they're not really this villain team as they were just a couple weeks ago. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah,
that's a great point. How in a couple of days, and that's how much, PR or just the way you handle some things can just like that change the perception. I agree. PSG are coming out looking great out of this. They were never in it. They even put out a statement saying they're going to back up UEFA and FIFA, kind of tied with them. Same with Bayern. Yep. Bayern's a big supporter club, right? The Bayern Munich fan club is huge, massive, and it's I'm sure they got asked, and because they had good PR team, I'm thinking, and just they thought about what are the pros and cons of this league, not just of we get this much money and every year we're in it. Oh yeah, let's do it. They're gonna come out looking great. I think that's a good point.
Yeah, and I want to touch on. Go ahead.
So real quick, I want to touch on the other teams that are in the Super League that I really don't think they're that super, right? Thinking AC Milan, when was the last time they were really considered back in the early 2000s, maybe
Right.
when they had Kaká and all those guys out there, but they've been pretty trash. Inter just now are coming back, right, with some
Yep.
good signing, getting some Man United rejects, and kind of letting them play again. So I just, yeah, just terrible. A couple of those teams that were selected for this Super League were very highly questionable.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just the icing on the cake really was both of the British teams, both of the Premier League teams that were in there, both tied their games against much
Right.
lesser opposition. Like that was
It
just
just
perfect.
it really is a cherry on top. It really just
Yeah.
proves the point that all these people were saying, that you got to earn it, man. You can't just because you have this history and you have this brand, that you should just be given the label of a super team
Yeah.
and earn in the right to your own Super League.
The other thing
Well,
I found really interesting too was a team like Man City, right? They are obviously owned by you know, Dubai and whatever.
yeah.
And it's like they don't need money. What the fuck would like what the hell were they think like who is the guy that's and it probably comes down to these dipshit owners and this mafia mentality where they're like, well, if all five of these guys are doing it, we got to do it too, because I can't
Right.
think of another. And same goes for Chelsea too. Roman Abramovich, because he's a Russian guy. He's been around for the past since like '03 or something,
Mm-hmm.
owning Chelsea, and he doesn't need the money either. So
No
it's
shot.
those guys real, and that probably is why they were the first two to announce that they were leaving it. But like,
Yeah.
who was the guy that was like, hey, there's probably a chance that people aren't going to really like this that much. There was no one that said that. And it's like, that's alarming. Who is
That's
advising
very
them?
alarming. Yeah. That's very alarming because I mean clearly they were just thinking of the profits. And it makes me think, if it's obviously they don't need the money, but it's the brand recognition, right? And the being in the Super League and recognize. I bet you they thought that this was going to go smooth. Everybody's going to love it. Oh, we get to see Man City play not PSG, sorry, Man City play Real Madrid every other week. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah,
What And they just totally backfired, and I love it. I just loved it.
I fucking
It's been
love it,
great.
dude.
It
It's been
feels
so
like
good.
just refreshing Twitter, refreshing on the page. It changes by the hour. It's nuts.
It really does, man. And, I've watched this podcast that I listen to weekly, The Guardian Football Weekly. They had two back to back episodes this week, so Monday and Tuesday, where
Mhm.
probably 75% of the coverage was about the Super League and different opinions. And I want to get your thoughts on this too, because this, I definitely did not agree with this. And it was a guest of the pod that I forget his name. I think it's Darren something, but not a big fan. But anyway, he comes on and he's basically stating, this was yesterday, so when shit was just kind of starting to pop off.
Mhm.
And he basically comes out and he says, his opinion was that he was asked the question like, okay, their players are being told they might not be able to play for their countries in the Euro or the World Cup, and he comes out and he says, I have a feeling that the majority of these players won't be all that bothered. They'll be more concerned with making the money and stuff. And I was like, I can't believe. And he was a former player too. I was like, is this guy really fucking like? Does he actually mean that, or is he just trying to like fucking stir the pot a little bit? I thought that was insane. And then, as we've
Yeah.
seen today, all of these players have come out and said the complete opposite of that. How
Right.
much
Yeah.
they've all grown up loving the Champions League and playing for their countries, and these dreams when they're little kids. And I'm like, dude, where the fuck did you? So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, if you were in that position, okay, I'll sign this contract with you, but you need to play in this tournament.
No.
You won't be able to play for your country, but if you want to leave, you can go play somewhere else. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So yeah, no, totally disagree. I mean, which football fan growing up doesn't have the dream of playing for their national team, representing their. I mean, that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Anybody tells you that's not the goal, they're lying. Look at players who choose different citizenships just to play for a national team.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's BS. And I don't know what that guy's talking about. He probably wasn't good enough to make the national team. That's why he didn't care.
Yeah.
But if you have any desire to make your national, you're not gonna, especially in a Euro year, in a World Cup coming up. Yeah, no, I think that's I think every player growing up wants to play a World Cup. They want to represent their nation wherever they were born or wherever they feel like they should represent the country that gave them the start. And playing I mean, who doesn't want to play in the Champions League with coming out to the anthem and the ultimate glory? It's an established tournament. You know, imagine if the Super League happens and then in 10, 20 years, we got fucking a 12-year-old coming at you saying, yeah, but Manchester United never won the Super League. They never done it in the Super League.
Yeah,
you know, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is a Super League? So, yeah, exactly. Cracked. So I don't think
child abuse, but
so it's a whole lot of crap. Players, especially in these super teams, they do probably make a decent salary, most of them.
Right, yeah,
I don't think.
Sure.
And like you said, a lot of these players came out. Bruno Fernandes came out. Daniel Pondense came out talking about how you're supposed to earn it, and their childhood dream is to play a Champions League and a World Cup, not a UEFA Super League.
Yeah.
So, were there any other players that kind of made a statement?
I mean, there were so many. Like De Bruyne put out a good one about being like a kid from Belgium, blah blah blah. His was pretty good. Rashford just kind of did like a post on, like a Manchester United like quote on the like stands or whatever, some sort of like sheet or whatever you want to call it. I also what I was surprised about too is that. And maybe there were some Bayern guys that did it, but I didn't see any, like, I was expecting maybe Neymar or, like, Mbappe would put up something, but maybe they were told just, like, yo, just stay out of it because we're not even involved here. I was just surprised, like, maybe one of them would come out and be like, fuck this shit. Like, you guys are losers. I think, too, it's a good time to kind of reflect on, like, our favorite moments in the Champions League as well. Like, I know I have a couple, but... Like, because like you said, I mean, just that song is so iconic, just all the graphics and shit, the ball with the stars on it, you grow up and it's like, that was always the best. It was like, I remember being little and I was like, what the fuck is it? Why are these two teams playing each other? It's like a Tuesday.
Right, yeah.
And I like finally figured it out because honestly my dad was like, I'm like, what? I couldn't really understand. And then, you know, you learn and you start to like get totally into it and you develop your favorite moments. Like, what do you have one that sticks out in your memory as far as like a favorite Champions League moment?
My favorite Champions League moment will probably have to be. I mean, I really enjoyed that final we watched at Mesque with Juve versus Real Madrid.
Oh yeah.
Madrid's wearing the purple uniforms and. You know, Mandzukic has a crazy goal. Just that game. That's one of my favorite memories. And it's a good memory. You know, we were with the lads. We were at the pub hanging out. A couple lads came from out of town to hang out. So it's that and the Belletti goal for Barca in versus Arsenal.
Okay.
Because he was just such a random guy to score that goal. And he's never done anything ever since. So I think that's very that's what the Champions League does. It gives these guys a chance to have this special moment for their club and for their career. Like, you know, that dude Belletti still posts that shit every couple months. His goal, you know.
He's like, yo, y'all remember this?
Y'all better not forget.
That's funny. That's so true.
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I wish I could tell you with a straight face that it was the Zizou left-footed volley in 2002, but honestly, I was too young to remember that. Like, I only know that after the fact. Yeah, exactly. But I think my favorite, and it's a distinct memory, and it wasn't even like a final. It was Man U against Roma in 2007, I believe,
Oh yeah. Hmm.
and they won 7-1 against Roma. And I was in Frankfurt, Germany, in the hotel lobby, just like watching it downstairs while my parents were at the bar, and just watching this game. I fucking could. I remember Patrice Evra, obviously Cristiano Ronaldo. He had 2 goals, I think. And Donny was in that, I think, for
Tony, shout
Roma.
out to
Right?
Tony.
Yeah, he used to follow us, dude.
He's a
Remember?
fan of AmiGolazo.
Yeah. On the old account before the Russian hacking. But I just remember that game being like, holy fuck, 7-1. Like that may have been the highest scoring, like craziest batshit
Crazy.
insane match I'd seen up until that point in my life. So that was a big
I'm
one.
pulling it up right now. I'm trying to see who it's under UEFA Champions League's historic matches.
Yeah, there you go. I
So
think it was a quarter. I think it was a quarter
quarter
final.
quarterfinals, second
Quarter.
leg. Man U moved on in aggregate 8-3. We had
Sheesh.
2 goals from Carrick, one from Smith, one from Mooney, 2 from Ronaldo, and one
Yeah.
from Uncle Pat on the
Oh,
81st minute.
Patrice got one. Oh my god. Let's go, dude. I love Patrice, man. He's getting married.
So
He's
that's right. Uncle Pat.
yeah.
Did he make a statement on Super League? I feel like his statement would have been great if he made
Oh
one.
my god, that's a good point. I don't think he did.
I don't think he
Damn,
did.
let
He's
me just do
busy.
a quick little fucking search here
He's busy working
because
on the I Love This Game brand, which is a perfect time to kind
yeah,
of push the I Love This
yeah,
Game brand right now. Patrice, if you're listening, hit us up. We got a good PR strat for you.
yeah, for real,
You get
dude.
attacked the market right now. But that's exactly it. Like these special moments of these Tuesday night games, Wednesday night games, where you have these super powerhouse clubs that have earned their way to this competition, and
Yeah,
they deserve to be there because of what they did on the pitch, not because of what they did with building the brand. I'm not saying that it's wrong to build a brand and have a revenue because of the brand you build. I just and a lot of football fans don't like when you're just using your name and your badge to claim this super status and you deserve all this money. And screw JP Morgan for funding this.
yeah.
They could go
Fuck
to
him.
hell.
Fuck him.
They're the ones putting up the money and it's just a mess. It's just a mess. And I'm glad it got halted, but we have to stay diligent. We have to follow the money, know what's going on, protect your club, join the fan club if you want. Or I'm sure a lot of people revoked. I mean, I saw a lot of Arsenal fans
Oh
emailing
yeah,
Arsenal fan club. I'm out. I think even our own friend Mart Murray
yeah. Mark.
took took out his fanship, canceled his
Yeah,
Peacock account. It got crazy. Hurt their wallets, hurt the
yeah,
wallets,
yeah.
and they'll listen.
Exactly, man. Well said, dude. Well fucking said, man.
Unbelievable.
Well, I mean, I think that's honestly, Elo, I think that was a great way to end the pod here, man. What a great finale. Anything else you want to discuss, or do you want to
Um,
wrap it up here, dude? It's been crazy. I'm exhausted.
I'm tired, but I have no plans of dying well rested. So let's keep the pressure on FIFA and UEFA for Qatar 2022. There's a lot of shady shit going on there, and if we keep this intense for the Super League for Qatar throughout these years, maybe something would have happened. It's probably too late now. World Cup's next year, but just know I feel like a lot of shit's gonna come up too in this Qatar World Cup.
That's a really good point, man.
We
That's a
just
really good
opened the
point.
box right now.
Now
We
we know
opened
what
it.
we can do. Yeah,
We
we
know
know
what
what
we
we
can
can
do.
do. Those
Wow.
lucky bastards in Qatar. Oh, God damn it.
Unbelievable.
All
Well,
right,
thank you,
dude.
amigos, for
Yeah.
listening. It's a lot of people were expecting this pod, so if you made it all the way through, we appreciate you. Make sure to like, subscribe. We're on YouTube. We are on Twitter. My name's Italo, Chapolis, McNutt. Any closing words?
Yeah. No, just thank you guys. Appreciate it. It's been real, and we'll talk soon, all right?
Love this game. Fuck the Super League.
Fuck them. Fuck them.